Hello everyone, I am Pallavi Salavarti from Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering for Women. Currently I am studying in final year and today I am going to demonstrate you my DMW mini project which is laptop price prediction. So the main objective of this project was to predict the price of the laptop whenever the user tells his desired configured laptop model configuration, so this model will predict the price according to the configurations which are being entered by the user. So in today's date, if there is any student or any working professional who wants to buy a new laptop for himself and knows all the configuration and features for the laptop, then this model will tell him the desired price prediction for this configuration. So now I will show you the demo of this first. So this is the page of how the price predictor will look. So here for the brand I have mentioned MSI. Then for the type, since it is a MSI brand type of laptop, so it would be of gaming type. Then here for RAM I have entered 16 GB. Then the weight of laptop is 1.86. Then it has no touchscreen since it is gaming laptop. Then there is IPS panel present and the screen size is 15.60 inches. Then this is the screen resolution which is full HD. The CPU is of Intel Core i7. There is no HDD present. SSD is of 512 GB, and since it is a gaming laptop, the GPU card is of Nvidia and OS is Windows, and the price predicted by this model is 91,000. So now moving on to the explanation of the code. So here first of all I have imported the libraries, that is NumPy, Pandas and Matplotlib. So here I am importing the data set, that is laptop data.csv file. So here we are returning the first 5 default rows from the dataset. As you can see over here, these are the first 5 default dataset. Then if we perform df.shape, so it will give us the number of rows and columns which are present in this dataset. Then df.info will give us the summary of all the columns which are present, and to those columns what are the data types written over here. Then next we are checking for the duplicate rows, if any duplicate row is present over there. Since there is no duplicate row present, so the output is 0. Then next here we are checking for the missing value. Now here also we don't have any missing value, so the values are all zeros. Now here we have dropped the column that is unnamed, which is not required, so it is a not required column, so we have dropped this column. So after dropping the column, this is what the data will look like. So now here what I have done is I have replaced the GB with nothing and kg with nothing. So here you can see that in this RAM column, here we have value as 8 GB. So I don't want this GB word attached to this numerical value. So in order to remove this GB word, I have written this statement, that is str.replace. So we are replacing this GB with nothing, that is blank will be over here, and then same operation is performed with this weight. For this weight also I don't want this kg to be attached to this numerical value, so again str.replace is written. So after running this statement, this RAM and this weight column will look like this after removing the GB and the kg string respectively. So since the data object of this RAM and this weight was object, the data type was object, so I have changed the data type of this RAM to the integer and of this weight to the float. So if we do df.info, here you can see that for the RAM, the data type is as int, and for the weight it is at float. Next we have imported the cbond. Now cbond is used for graphical representation of the data. So here we are plotting a graph of price. Then here we are plotting graph of company, and we are applying value count, and then we are plotting the graph. So here we are checking for the number of laptops of each brand. We have Lenovo, Dell and HP are in the maximum number. So here now next is, here we are checking for the average price of each brand with against the price. So for example, Apple is above 50,000 and Lenovo and Dell, they are also above 50,000. So here prices may vary with the company. Moving on to the next is the type name column. Now here we have laptops of notebook, gaming, ultrabook, 2-in-1 convertible workstation and netbook. So here we have notebook of maximum type, and there are very few of workstation and netbook. So again we are plotting a bar graph plot of type name against the price. So here we can see that the workstation, we have prices of workstation greater than 80,000, and we have prices of notebook which are around 40 to which are between 40,000 to 60,000. Then next here we are plotting graph of the inches column. So here we can see that a few laptops screen ranges from 13 to 14, and few are around 15.6, and some few are around 17. Now if we plot this graph on the scatter plot, so here we can see a relation between the variables, like there are many laptops which are between 13 to 14 inches, and the price ranges are between 15,000 to 1 lakh, and very few of 17,000 which are above 3 lakh. So here you can see that these two dots, they are like they have higher prices, since they have the screen inch is larger, so the price is also higher. So next is the screen resolution. Now in this column there are many features hidden, like from here we can extract this X resolution which is 1920, and Y resolution that is 1080. Then here we have IPS panel full HD, and we can extract this IPS panel from this data. Then from this value we can extract whether this screen is a touch screen or not, and many more values can be extracted. So from this screen resolution main column, we have here first created a touchscreen column, and in touchscreen column I have applied a lambda function. So what this lambda function will do is, for example, here we have a company of Lenovo. So the laptop of this type is of touchscreen, because here in the screen resolution we are having this touchscreen word. So wherever this touchscreen word will be appearing, the value in the touchscreen column will be 1, else it will be 0. So if we plot a graph of this touchscreen, so here we can see that we don't have much laptops of touchscreen, but we have laptops which don't have touchscreen. So next is, if we plot the graph of touchscreen against the price, so here we can see that there are many laptops which are touchscreen and they have prices higher than 70,000. Then next is the IPS. So IPS is created from the main column. So here also lambda function is been applied. If the x value is 1, then it is IPS, else it is not. So here you can see that for this Apple laptop, in the screen resolution, here we have IPS panel. So in the IPS column, 1 value is been inserted. And if we take example of this HP, here no IPS panel, here no IPS is word is here, so 0 value is been inserted over here. So if we plot a graph of this IPS, here we can see that there are many laptops which are not IPS, and very few are there which are having IPS. So if we plot the graph of this IPS against the price, here we can see that there are many laptops which are having IPS panel, and they have prices between 70,000 to 80,000. Next, uh, next here we are splitting the X and Y resolution. We are creating two new columns, that is X resolution and Y resolution. So for example, for this Dell laptop, we have screen resolution of 1920 and 1080. So this 1920 will be extracted and it will be stored into the XRES column, while this 1080 will be extracted and it will be stored in the YRES column. Again, for example, for this Acer laptop, we have 1366 as X resolution, so it will be extracted and stored in XRES, while this 768 will be extracted and stored in YRES. So this extraction and storing process is performed for all the laptops. Then next, if we do df dot head, so this is how it will look after extracting the X resolution and Y resolution from the screen resolution. Then since the data type of this screen resolution column was object, so we have changed the screen resolution, the data type of the YRS and the XRES to as int. So the data type of this X resolution and Y resolution column is integer now. So here you can see that it is integer now. Then if we perform a correlation of these columns with the price, so here you can see that we have a strong relationship with RAM, and we have a very weak with weight and with touchscreen, and a slight strong with the X resolution and Y resolution. So next, here we are calculating the PPI, that is pixel per inch. So here we are calculating PPI by formula, which is here we are squaring the X resolution, then adding it with the Y resolution square, and then dividing it by, and then multiplying it by the square root, and then dividing it by inches, and the data type is converted to the float. So if we see the correlation of PPI with price, it comes to as 0.47, which is not so strong. Then since we have calculated we have the touch screen, IPS, X resolution, Y resolution and the PPI column from this main screen resolution column, so we have dropped this column, and after dropping it, this is how the data will look like. Then since we have calculated the PPI from the X resolution and Y resolution, so we have dropped the inches, X resolution and Y resolution column also. So after dropping these three columns, this is how the data will look like. Next is the CPU. Now here in CPU we are applying a lambda function and we are extracting the first three words. That is, for example, in this case we will be extracting the Intel Core i5, then Intel Core i7, then from here we will be extracting Intel Atom, then Z8350 this. So this function will be applied. So after applying this, we have created a new column called as CPU name. So in this CPU name, the extracted first three words will be stored. For example, for this HP notebook, we have extracted the Intel Core i5 and stored in the CPU name. So next is the function, that is fetch function is being defined over here. So this text is nothing but the CPU name. So if the CPU name, if the CPU name is exactly equal to Intel Core i7 or Intel Core i5 or Intel Core i3, then it will return that text only. Else if it is something different than Intel Core i5, i7 or i3, then it will split and it will return other Intel processor. and else if it is not even Intel, then it will return AMD processor. So this fetch function is been applied on this CPU name, and after applying that function it will be stored into a new column called as CPU brand. So if we plot the graph of this CPU brand, here we can see that we have laptops of Intel Core i7 on maximum, like we have higher number of Core i7 laptops and very lesser of Core i3. Then if we plot the graph of this brand against the price, so the price of this Core i7 is higher than 80,000, and while the prices of i3 is between 20,000 to 40,000. Then after since we have calculated, or since we have computed the CPU brand from the CPU name and the CPU column, we have dropped those two columns, and after dropping those two columns, this will how the data will look like. Then next is the RAM. So in the RAM we have 8 GB as maximum, like there are many laptops which are having 8 GB RAM, and very few are there which are having 12 to 32, 24 and 60, 64. So if you plot the graph of RAM against the price, so here we can see that we have 64 and 32 GB, which ranges from around 1,75,000 to 2 lakh, while the 8 GB is around 50,000 to 75,000. Next is the memory. Now, so in this column here we have many different categories and variations are present. For example, here we have 500 GB HDD, and here we have combination of SSD and HDD, and here we have flash storage and hybrid also. So from this main memory column we have created 4 columns, that is HDD, SSD, then this flash storage and the hybrid one. So here you can see that we have this 4 columns created from this main memory column, that is HDD, SSD, hybrid, flash storage. So for example, here we have laptop of company HP. The memory is 500 HDD. So in HDD column 500 will be inserted, else column will be having 0 value. In Lenovo we have 256 SSD, so 256 value will be inserted in the SSD, while the else column will be 0. So the same process is applied to other laptops too. Then after that we have dropped this memory column, since we have computed the HDD, SSD, flash and hybrid columns. Then after dropping that memory column, this is how it will look like. So if we see the correlation of these 4 memory columns with the price, so here we can see that we have a negative relationship of HDD with price, which is minus 0.09, and we have a strong relation of SSD with price, that is 0.67. So we are dropping here, we are dropping the hybrid and the flash storage column. So after dropping that column, it will look something like this. Then next is the GPU. So GPU is the graphics processing unit, that is the graphics card which is present in the laptop, whether it is of Intel, Nvidia or any other. So here also we have applied a lambda function. So this lambda function, what it will do is it will split the it will extract the first it will extract the brand name, that is this Intel will be extracted from this whole GPU data, and this Nvidia will be extracted and it will be entered into the GPU brand. So for example, for this Apple laptop we have GPU of Intel Iris Plus Graphics 640. So this Intel will be extracted and it will be stored into the GPU brand. Same for example, for this Apple we have AMD Radeon Pro 455. So this AMD will be extracted and it will be stored into this GPU brand. Then if we perform a value count, so we have GPU, so we have for Intel we have 722, for Nvidia we have 400, and for AMD we have 180. Then if we plot the graph of this GPU brand against the price, so we have laptops of Nvidia graphics card which are quite costlier, means they range between 60,000 to 75,000, while for Intel they they are between 40,000 to 50,000. Then we have dropped the GPU column since we have the GPU brand. Then here we are calculating the operating system. So this is the value count for the operating system which we are having. If we plot it against the price, Mac OS is costlier. It is greater than 80,000, means the price is higher. And for Windows, it is greater than 60,000. And then for Windows 7, if we look, then it is again at the same price of Mac OS, that is greater than 80,000. So here function is being declared defined as category OS. So this INP is nothing but this system. So if this INP is equals to Windows 10, Windows 7 or Windows 10s, then it will return Windows. If it is Mac OS or Mac OS X, then it will return Mac. Else if it is any other operating system, then it will return others, no OS or Linux. So this function is been applied on this column, and the value has been stored in this OS newly created column. So here you can see that for this Apple company we have operating system of Mac OS. So after applying that function in the OS column, Mac is being stored. So then we have dropped this main column since we have the OS column now. And if we plot the graph of this OS against the price, then here you can see that Mac is costlier, like it starts from 80,000, and for Windows it ranges between 60,000 to 80,000. So next is the weight. So for the weight in this graph, you can see that it has a very weak linear relationship with the price. Like for example, in this scatter plot graph, here you can see that there is a very slight increase in price and weight, but most of them they resides within 1 to 1.5 kg. So for this, the graphical representation of data, uh, so here is the heat map for this, for the graphical representation of data. So if there is any whitish shade between the independent column, then it is a red flag. Lighter shade means strong correlationship. For example, for this between the weight and the HTD, it is orange in color, means larger the HTD size, higher the weight. So uh, yes, then next is the price. So for the price, you can see that the graph is quite skewed or asymmetric after applying the log transformation on y, and in the x we have the we in the for the x we have dropped the column, the price column, and for the y we have taken the log form of the prices. So here you can see that the prices here are being decreased. Then next is here we are from the sklearn.model selection. I have imported the test train split class, which is a scikit-learn class which will help to split the data into 4 dataset, that is xtrain, xtest, ytrain and ytest. So here x is the independent variable while y is the dependent variable, which is the price which we have to calculate. So all these columns, they are the independent variable. So here for the training, the dataset columns taken are the company name, then the type name, then the CPU brand, the GPU brand, and the OS. These 5 columns are being taken, and for the Y-train variable is dependent on the X-train feature. So after training the data model, we will test it. So here for the test size equals to 0.15, that is 15% of data is taken for testing while the remaining is taken for the training. Then here we have random state equals to 2. Here we are avoiding the shuffling of data before splitting is been applied. So next here I have imported a column transfer pipeline, one hot encoder, R2 score, mean absolute error, and these are the algorithms which we will be using to predict the price, and among these the one which will yield the best R2 score, that algorithm will be taken. So is the linear regression. So now this is the step 1 in the entire pipeline. Here we are creating a column transformer, which is a transformer object for encoding. The parameters passed here are the transformer list, and in this as many column transformations can be done, but for now only one is needed, which is called TNF, and this call TNF will be one hot encoded. So the parameters passed in the one hot encoder is sparse equals to false, as we don't want any sparse array, and drop equals to first, wherein the categorical variable, the column created from the classes are being dropped, and then the column numbers here are being passed in form of array on which this one hot encoding will be done. And lastly, remainder equals to pass through. Here the remaining columns which are not specified in this array will be passed through automatically. So for the step 2, here we have taken the linear regression model is passed. So here we are creating a pipeline using pipeline class. In step 1 is passed, and for step 2 is passed. So basically this pipeline, it expects a list of tuples, and it expects two values, that is name of the step and object of that step. On X train transformation, this transformation will be applied, and then this linear regression will be applied on that transformed X train and Y train, and this Y pred will be calculated by the pipe.predict method, where we are passing the X test, and then we are calculating the R2 score and the mean absolute error. So this R2 score, it is a statistical measurement which will tell us how well our model is fitted to the data by comparing it to the average line of the dependent variable. So if this score is equal to 1, is closer to 1, then it indicates that the model is performing well. But if the score is not equal to 1, then it will indicate that the model is not performing well. And this mean absolute error, it is the error regression loss, and it is a score between the targeted values and the estimated values. So the R2 score of this linear regression model comes out to be as 0.80. Then next is the ridge regression. So for the ridge regression, here the value of alpha taken is as 10, and the R2 score is 0.81. Then next is the lasso regression. So for the lasso regression, the alpha value is 0.001, and the R2 score comes out to be as 0.80. Then for KNN, here we have taken the neighbors in the step 2 equals to 3. So the R2 score is 0.80. Then for the decision tree, in the step 2 we have taken maximum depth equals to 8, and the R2 score is 0.84. For the SVM, which is support vector machine, for the step 2, kernel equals to RBF, the regularization parameter equals to 10,000, and epsilon is equals to 0.1. So the R2 score is 0.80. Then the random forest, the n estimators is equals to 100. random state is 3, maximum sample is 0.5, maximum feature is 0.75, and maximum depth is 15. So the R2 score comes out to be a 0.88, which is far more better than the previous algorithms which are being used for calculating the R2 score. Then next is the extra trees. For extra trees also, the step 2 is same as that of the random forest. So here the R2 score comes out to be as a 0.87. Then next is the ADA boost. So for this ADA boost, in the second step we have taken n estimators as 15 and the learning rate equals to 1. So the R2 score comes out to be a 0.79. Then next is the gradient boost. Now in gradient boost we have taken estimators as 500 and the R2 score it comes out to be as 0.88, which is same as that of the random forest. Next is the voting regressor. So for the voting regressor, here we have created object of random forest regressor, gradient boosting regressor, extra trees regressor, and we have passed these objects into the second step, and then we have calculated the R2 score, which is 0.80. So 1% increment is seen in this algorithm. Then next is the stacking. So for the stacking, here in the estimators we have taken the random forest regressor and the gradient boosting regressor, and in the step 2 here we have passed estimators equals to estimators, that is these algorithms will be taken, and final estimator taken is as ridge where the alpha value is 100. So in stacking here, in stacking we are using RF, that is the random forest, and the gradient boosting as the base learner, and we are using the ridge model as the meta learner, so to get our final predicted value, that is 0.87. So after that, here I am exporting the model, that is I have imported the pickle, and after importing the pickle I am opening the DF into the right binary mode and pipe into the right binary mode. So this is the DF and this is the X train on which training will be performed. So next, this is the GUI. Now here I have imported the Streamlit. Now Streamlit, it will provide us a virtual environment for the application deployment. Then I have imported Pickle and I have imported NumPy. Here I am opening the pipe and DF into read binary mode. Then the title is given as laptop predictor. Then next is the company. So company I have taken it in a drop down select box type. Then type is also in the drop down format. Then for the RAM I have declared it into the form of array over here, and select box has been created. Then next is the weight. So for the weight we are asking the weight from the input from the user as an input. Then touchscreen is being provided in a form of yes and no format in an array with the select box type. IPS is also IPS is also provided in the form of yes and no select box type. Then screen size we are asking it from the user. Resolution is already been provided over here in the form of select box type. Then CPU is also in a select box type, and HDD SSD we are provided here in the form of array, and GPU is in the form of select box type, and OS is also in the form of select box type. So next is the predict button. So in the predict button initially we have PPI value as none. So here we are creating an input point for query. In if else for touchscreen and IPS, if the value is yes, then 1 will be inserted, else 0 will be inserted. So with all these values, an input row and input row is created, and we will pass it to the pipe, and that pipe will predict the price and it will display it. So here we are splitting the X resolution on the basis of X, and this 0th will be the X resolution while the 1th will be the Y resolution. And then with the help of PPI formula we will be calculating the PPI and we will be storing it into the PPI. Then here the using the reshape query, we will store it into the query. Then using the title function we will display the price, and since we have converted the price into the log earlier, so again we will convert it into the exponential form and then we will display it to the user. That's it. Thank you.